And welcome to Bits TV. Kelly, how are you tonight?
Great. What a great opening night so far. This has been fun. I just like that.
That is a great opening night. And I can let you know, I'm all set. I got my drink.
I got mine too.
I got my popcorn.
Okay, there we go.
And just in case I get scared, I have my little Halloween cat.
Okay,
just
great.
In case, because some of these are scary.
Yeah. I just want to give a couple of shout outs before we start with everyone on there. We're going live now on Facebook, and I hope you're all joining in, and I hope you all enjoyed the first screening tonight. I just want to do a little shout out to Lance Ferdinand, who did that great animation. You just saw the bumper there, and you saw it's been playing on Super Channel, will be all week. He does all our great animations every year. And I want to say thanks to everyone at Super Channel. They've done such a fantastic job putting all this together and putting all these really goodies. I didn't even see totally 100% how it was going to look until the very end there. But yeah, I'm really happy how the first nights went. Robert, you look fantastic on screen there. Turned out really good and a great little bit. So to explain to everyone, most nights we'll be just doing the Q&As on Super Channel.
Right.
But it was the film was a bit longer, and we only were able to talk to Julian for that Q&A. We're going to bring him back again, but bring everyone from almost everyone from Anything for Jackson onto here just to kind of have a celebrating opening night. So we're just going to chat it up and stuff. But I just wanted to say, thank you to everyone who's been so supportive. Everyone's been tweeting like crazy and taking photos, and it's been just an absolute whirlwind of energy that's been going on for it. We'll be doing this yet again on Halloween night on the 31st. We'll be having like a party just like this. Robert and I will be hosting this and bringing on special guests from our team. And then we'll be doing it again on November 7th. So both Saturday nights, and people will be able to watch us and make comments and ask questions and stuff like that. And just try and do what we can to make it as interactive as possible. So I'm really excited about that. And that's all I really wanted to say before we brought everyone else on.
Excellent. Well, Jen kind of summed it up with her little comment here. Woohoo, killer opening film. Yes.
Yeah, she does our PR, and she's on our board of directors, and she did a fantastic job, tweeting and everything for that. And then my partner Sarah is on the other side here. She did a great job. Everyone's been posting their bits boxes that they got, all the T-shirts and stuff like that, and all their badges. I'm wearing my badge right now because we wanted to make it feel like it was the like what we would have at the festival. So we literally boxed hundreds of packages. So hashtag show us your bits. So if you've got some merchandise, and you can still order on the website, there's still a few T-shirts and stuff left, but we wanted to make it feel like people were still at the festival. So we want people wearing their T-shirt, and if you have a toque or whatever, or and your badges, and you can just sit there. And we have the program booklet as well that we printed. We still did that. I wanted it to feel like you still could actually, as much as we could do for the festival that we would normally have in person, I wanted to have it in your living room. So hopefully people still had that feeling tonight when they watched it, and that's why we're doing things like this, what we're doing right now. So
excellent. This is going to be a very cool festival. I know it.
Yeah. Well, that was a great first little bit with Julian. So why don't we talk to the rest of the team? This is
you got it. Let's bring them in.
Hey there.
There's a lot of people to bring in here. Get Josh in, Justin, Allie. Oh, Constantina. This is a new.
Hey,
there we go. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Congratulations on the film. That was amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is a lot of people here. This is like the biggest interview I've done.
Yeah.
It's like the new Brady Bunch. I love it.
Right? Now, just to start off, this was filmed in Barrie, if I'm not correct. Julian was telling me you guys filmed this right in Barrie at your house, right?
Yeah. Between Justin's house and my house, and then we built one set. Ironically, in the theater that Justin and I both grew up watching movies in. So it was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
How was that, sleeping wise? Because you have everybody there at your house. Normally you say, please stay at my house. But now it's like, please get out of my house because this is a set.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad actually. It was I mean, my family might have a different opinion on it. But it's more on the days that you don't have to be on set at 5 a.m. where you still have to be on set at 5 a.m. Or Ali knocking on my door at 4:30 being like, you have to move your car. Just give me the keys. We have to move your car. But yeah, really, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody was amazing and very respectful. So it was great. Still some blood stains on the wall. Still some gaffer tape on the ceiling that I can't get down. Other than that, it's great. They're kind of trophies now, so I embrace them.
That is excellent. Now, I got to ask, where did the idea for this story come from? Because, just the opening shot, like when Julie and I were first talking, that opening shot. Oh, Lynette's back. There we go. That opening shot is so surreal when you compare it to the rest of the film.
As Julian was saying in his previous interview there, Keith and I do a lot of Christmas movies, a lot of romance, a lot of kids, family stuff. So we're always out there, selling this other side of ourselves and the kind of projects we really, want to do. So we were at a pitch. It went well, but they said, "Hey, do you have anything more in like the supernatural?" We said, "Yeah, of course we do," and hopped in the car. And on the drive back up to Barrie from Toronto, we threw around some ideas for a supernatural movie, and we're big on taking the expected and turning it on its head. So we said, well, what lives in the supernatural world? How about an exorcism movie? What's the opposite of an exorcism? Well, you don't want to get the spirit out. You want to get the spirit back in. So what could we do with that? And that was, I think, the original little seed. And then everything else came from there.
How did you go about gathering this cast? Because the cast was incredible.
It started with Sheila, and we conceptualized the film. Keith was going to start writing, and I saw Sheila in a small Canadian indie film called Cardinals, and I just said, she is incredible. We need to try to reach out to her for this film. So I went into my Christmas movie Rolodex. I found some people I had worked with Sheila. They reached out to her. She read the script in the next day. She got back to us, and she loved it. She was on board. So we that was about a year before filming, and now we didn't only have a great script by Keith, but we had a script, and Sheila McCarthy was interested. So we took those two things. We went out and we finally got it picked up and financed. I think Keith was writing with Julian in mind. We knew a movie of this budget, we were going to need a Canadian cast, and so why not go for the top of the mountain for Canadian actors, and then when they turn us down, we could go and gather up some others. But they didn't turn us down, so that's where Sheila and Julian came from, and then the rest was casting calls, a lot of self-tapes. We called in a few favors from actors we worked with in the past, and we
Lynette.
and Rebecca LaMarche as well helped us dramatically in the casting process. She found some incredible people and some real diamonds in the rough, like Josh there.
Yeah. Josh, how did you?
And of course, the incredible Constantina, who it still surprises me that she was not an existing movie star before this film.
See, I'm just. How would you read for that? Like, you have the script and you go, yeah, that creepy guy. That's the one I want to read for.
I mean, the funny thing was for this movie, I actually auditioned for a couple of other parts, and then long story short, the role of Ian became available, and these two guys were very brave and offered it to me without reading it. I'm glad I didn't completely ruin it, but yeah, they took a chance, and I'm grateful for it.
Oh man, no, your character it's very iconic in this film. I have to say that.
What a risk on our part, yeah.
I'm still afraid of Ian.
Comes in my dreams. I don't like it.
And the one thing I wanted to mention, just because Julie and I were talking before and we couldn't remember the gentleman's name, Troy James, the gentleman
Yeah.
that the contortionist, and I saw him on Facebook originally, and he's just creepy, just normally. You guys saw him in that environment. He is like the creepiest ghost that is there.
Yeah, Troy. Troy wanted to join us tonight, but I just got a message from him. He's stuck on set, so he's they're doing a night shoot, and surprisingly enough, he's the one in the nighttime scene. So he's unable to join. But yeah, Julian was right. I saw him like 19 years ago. I was going to Canada's Wonderland Halloween Haunt, and I saw him doing his thing, and I was just like mesmerized. I stood there and watched him for a good half hour, just watching him scare everybody walk past. So, this movie comes up. We call Rebecca, like, Rebecca, you got to find this guy. Who is he? And she looks him up. She's like, oh, yeah, he's in Hellboy. He's in Scary Stories You Tell in the Dark. He was on James Corden, I think, 2 weeks prior. And we said, oh, great. So we can't get him. So we sent out a casting call. We saw a lot of incredible actors. We had another contortionist apply. We thought, great, let's get her. We went out to her. She wasn't available. And she said, but I do have a friend who I perform with sometimes. And sure enough, Troy James came and worked on the film for us.
That's amazing how that works together.
It was incredible.
And now, was it difficult working in the winter? I've noticed the theme. A lot of the movies this year seem to be winter based. What was it like? Because you're in a house most of the time, so it's not that bad, but you still have the cold to deal with.
Yeah, Allie, how easy was it to work in the winter?
We've had several feet of snow that happened. At one point, the roads were shut down. I didn't know that roads could just completely close, and our caterer called us saying, hey, we can't make it out here tonight. So that was fun. Lots of shoveling, lots of ice and snow, but it all worked out, and it looks great.
Yeah, I was just about to answer and say, yeah, it's no problem. It was easy. We all just bundled up. But maybe if you ask Constantina, who had to run in bare feet through a bunch of snow scenes, she might have a different opinion.
The snowstorm that happened in Barrie when we were shooting was the most fortuitous thing that could have possibly happened, because we had this sort of chunk of time where this snowstorm happened, and then a few days later, everything was melted and it was all gone. And we just happened to be shooting the scene when I needed to run down the stairs barefoot on the perfect day when everything was completely tumultuous. It was fabulous.
Well, you really shouldn't have had too much problem with snow, because you did have that guy that had the snowblower.
That's right.
I can't see him being much use, though.
Really be doing his job more, you know?
He quit halfway through the movie. Wouldn't clear it after that.
I will say you got extra points from us when you actually had blood in the snow for your film with the snowblower. We just get you extra points for the rest.
We were targeting you guys from day one, Kelly.
There we go. Oh, Lynette's having an issue tonight.
No.
But now, Constantina, is that it?
Yes, yeah.
Yes, that's right. What did you think when you read this script? Because like you said, there's that running outside in the snow, but there's a lot of other physical stuff for you in this film.
Honestly, I was very excited just about the concept, because I feel like I had never read anything quite like this before. There were so many amazing elements of things I'd seen in the past, but Justin and Keith had come up with this incredibly unique perspective to have this story from these grandparents' point of view, and I was just so excited to explore that. And I knew that I was going to be facing the physical challenges, but I just loved that all of the characters in the film were so grounded in a reality, and they were all fighting for something that they cared about so much. So for me, going into the handcuff scene, going into the getting kidnapped scene, it was all driven by the fact that all I wanted to do was protect this baby. almost as much, I think, as Henry and Audrey were desperately trying to get their grandson back.
That is excellent. Now, Julian, we chatted a little bit before about the film. How did you feel stepping into that role? Because, like you said, this is an everyday person suddenly thrust into this, spiritual world.
Yeah. So really, any answer that I have really is in tandem with Sheila, because the two of us kind of approached the thing so much together, and that's what gave it its hook, I think, and why there's an authenticity about the relationship is that it's really written from the perspective of two grieving grandparents, and so we went into it together, and all the choices that we made, and we never kind of went, I think it's about this. Like we worked it out as a couple.
One of the things I liked about the writing, the direction, and the performances in this film is that it's really comes from it's treated more like real life, more like a drama. Like it's really about it feels very real about the grieving that these grandparents are going through, and how this PTSD can lead to their actions, and I think that gives an authenticity. It's very it can be very tempting in the horror world to do it a little campy, and to kind of do it a little tongue in cheek. And I think what was great about this film is that it played it very straight. It played it like this was a drama that was really happening. This is a real event that was happening to these people, and it just gave it some real gravitas that other films I don't think really have.
Well,
thank you
very much. That's certainly what we were going for. I know a lot of the comedy came out, and I've found it to be quite funny, from the get-go. But I'm surprised how many reviews are coming out and calling it, a dark comedy. I wouldn't have thought it would get that monicum, but it really just all of it comes from what would be real if there really was a group of Satanists in this small town. Where would they meet? Would they have a cave under City Hall? Or would they have to rent a room at the library? That's one of many things. And the leader of it, is she, this mastermind person who has, endless wealth, or would she have to work at McDonald's to pay the rent in between? So it was really just, what would this world look like if it was actually next door to you? And reality turned out so funny.
And then even Josh's character, I mean, he's sitting there listening to that death metal, and then you can hear his mom yelling down to him, kind of thing, "Hey, do you want dinner?" I mean, that's just, as jokey as that is, that just sells it for like really what it would be if this guy would be living with his mom.
Yeah, he's got an unfinished basement, and he has to, put up his heavy metal poster right next to his old kid toys.
Yeah.
That was a really fun little last minute thing too. It was Jane Easton is playing Josh's mom in that one. So yeah, thanks to Rebecca there for knocking that out of the park. It was just awesome to have another amazing person attached. Like when you didn't expect it. So even I was surprised. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool. I didn't even know this was happening. So yeah, it's awesome.
I can't believe I killed Jane Eastwood.
Anybody
you
watching?
Killed a lot of Canadian acting royalty in this movie, Josh. Way to go.
Anybody watching right now can definitely chime in if they have questions. Like one person here, Kirk Haviland said, "Hello, everyone. Congrats to the Anything for Jackson team." Kirk is a member of the Bits crew.
Sweet.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
Thanks, Kirk.
He said, "I'd like to know more about the snowblower scene."
Okay. Sorry. Was there more to it, or just talk about it?
Yeah. How did that? Like, a lot of interesting, visuals are in this film, especially like that woman with dental hygiene issues. But how did the snowblower come up?
It was originally. I think I'd written a proof of concept. It was just going to be a little scene in case Justin and I just were shopping at the studios and wanted, it was something that we could put together. I have a background in visual effects, and so I kind of figured out the snowblower scene of how it would look from a VFX point of view. So then I wrote the scene around that. It's very similar, I think, to the one that ended up in the movie. I don't think we changed it too much. Henry had a gun, I think, at that point, so we took that away. Didn't think it really fit his character. And then after that, it was just Justin and I in his backyard breaking his snowblower, throwing chunks of everything into it. What did we ended up? We tried oatmeal. That didn't work. If you're going to do an oatmeal,
we took over my kitchen and we made oatmeal. We had tomato juice. We soaked bread in tomato juice. And all these
bread wasn't bad actually.
The whole first day went terribly because apparently it needs to be frozen to go in a snowblower. So it didn't work at all the first time. And then what ended up working was large trays of frozen tomato juice with Carly Morris gave us some blood powder. And then we threw in a bunch of bananas. I don't know why, but Carly said you need to put bananas in it. And she was right. So we had this frozen slurry of tomato juice, bananas, and blood powder. And Keith and I just kept throwing it into the snowblower till the right consistency worked. And then, on the day, the effect itself was done with, we did not put Yannick in a snowblower, believe it or not. We had him dive into a fresh pile of snow, which he was more than willing to do. He went head first multiple times.
That's terrifying.
And then Keith and I dumping a bunch of frozen juice in the snowblower.
Wow. Because like Kelly said, that's a great visual. As soon as it hits the snow and the ground is.
And that's 100% practical. There's no digital blood or anything.
No digital
that's
blood.
All being thrown by the snowblower.
Well, Kirk has a point. You always got to have your potassium. You got bananas in there.
It works out less, funny enough, when it is the director's daughter's birthday party that day. What was she turning 7, Justin?
She would have been turning 7, yeah. So
7.
It was her birthday party, and Keith and I were testing blood in the driveway.
There was a lot.
And there was a lot all over the snow. And so I went inside and grabbed some blue and green food coloring, and we just pretended we were like painting the snow. So we covered it in other colors, and hopefully that kind of hit it. So if anyone out there wants to murder with a snowblower, bring some food coloring along.
Can I jump in and go off topic a little bit? Because Lynette keeps coming in and going away, and I want to make sure we grab her before she disappears. I just wanted to say, you asked me earlier about the world, like what did I think? And I said about my connection to Sheila and our connection as a couple. But the really important thing about the film is everybody's very real and everybody's very much an agent, has agency in this world. And so Lynette, and we should throw it over to Lynette and Rebecca, because the two of them are kind of terrifying and they affect the way that the story goes. And it's so unusual in a film where it's like a small community, right? Everybody brings something to the table and pushes the story into a slightly different direction. So Lynette, while you're there, from my point of view, the moral authority or the terrifying police officer, Lynette, I don't know.
That is the question I was going to ask her, actually, is being the authority figure in this world, because you're supposed to be, what everybody looks to for guidance, for help, for everything. So how did you go about that in this world?
Lost her.
Next time, shorter questions.
She doesn't really do interviews, guys. She's got her tricks. Yeah, she's
9 people in case people drop out. We're still good. Yeah.
Yes. In that case,
that's a good point. I'm not even sure anybody knows, but Rebecca is Banff at the end. It was terrifying. There you go.
There it is. It's so cool.
Is that your face mold, Rebecca?
Yeah, Carly left it to me as a present, and she put sparkles on it, but it wasn't sparkling in the movie, so it's a fun souvenir.
That is excellent.
That's super cool.
So what was that like sitting through that kind of thing then? Because that can take a lot. Oh, wait a second. Give me 1 second because I see Lynette.
Let's get her in here.
The police, they keep coming and going.
There she is.
There she is.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
No.
I just texted Justin. I'm so humble and grateful for that last comment. I feel so enamored with each and every one of you. I'm so sorry that my technological world is not allowing me to just praise each of you the way my heart wants to. I told Justin that I had toothpicks in my eyes at 8 o'clock hanging in there at this moment. I wanted to be there with you guys, and of course, technically it's not working. I didn't hear much because I think it's kicking me out because it says someone else wants to come in. So I'm so sorry about all of these problems tonight. I'm just happy to be that 10th wheel in our little party just to say I love you guys so much. And if I go again, I'm going to make it permanent because I don't want to drive you guys crazy. But what a journey, what a blast, what an honor, what a humble experience. I love each and every one of you so much. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this and to watch all of your performances. Like, oh my gosh, Josh, Constantine, Julian, hello, Sheila. I mean, it's too much. And all from the head of Keith and Justin.
Right back at you.
No, I'm serious. You guys are like, I love you guys.
Then let me ask you quick. How did you go about being the authority figure in this spiritual world, in this world that Justin built? How did you go about that character?
I love the idea that she is someone who seeks the truth, you know, and that's kind of who I am in general. Like if anything is a missing link in my own life, I love to figure it out. So that was kind of like how I approached her job. But then the elements of her kind of, you know, reliving this nightmare was new and exciting and fun. And I have to say that Justin's the only person that I would trust to throw myself back on the ground and fall into the arms of. So like, I was so petrified at this whole idea of being in the room and like, you know, having to kind of fall and come back and fall and come back. And that was new and exciting. And so what I did was I just trust, right? I just went with it. It didn't make sense in any normal circumstance. So I had people around me that I loved, that I trusted, that I knew had the story in their hearts and minds. And I just went with it. I just threw myself back.
That is excellent. Well, I think we just lost. Oh, we lost Justin.
Yeah, Carolyn had a question, or she made a comment there too.
Yeah, Lynette and her blam scenes were terrifying. How did she feel about those?
I'm having glitches. I don't know if I can be heard. I don't know. Everything was great. I'm not sure if you're getting me properly or not, and I don't want to hold up too much of your time.
You're good.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, I felt great about being trusted to be terrifying. If that answers your question.
Absolutely. Okay, Josh, I got to ask because when you first came in the room, before we even went live, I said hello to the creepiest man in film because, dude, your character literally, I will remember that character forever.
Fine.
How did you approach that? Because you made him so separate from everybody.
It's a great question. I think Ian, I don't know. The first kind of thing is like that. The kind of work that's being done by everybody from the crew to the people behind the camera. You realize, you know, where the plant your anchor in. But yeah, I think Ian, like everybody in this film, has his own, you know, wants and needs, and his is the you know, we kind of talked about this idea that he's kind of this like incel type kind of character who like is really, really troubled and really and blames kind of everybody else for all of his problems, and he just kind of like has diverted all of his energy into figuring out and hoping that this world that he is a part of is actually real. And so when, you know, Justin's character, when Julian and Sheila's character come to him with this, you know, book, then it opens up his whole Pandora's box of what he thought was real is, and it just kind of changes his life and kind of unleashes and unlocks a part of him that was always there, but we kind of never really wanted to see, you know.
Josh, there was a funny moment when we were just finishing watching the film, and my partner here, she had this is the first time she helps me run the festival, and Sarah, and she commented like, "Wow, that guy is so creepy. I wonder if he's like that in real life." Sarah and I said, "I'm going to be talking to him in 10 minutes. You could ask him yourself."
Well, I think probably, as you know, the answer is a resounding yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's laughing in the background right now. She says hi.
If I could just make a comment on that, being the person kind of in the bed, and the people that came in and out of this story sort of swirled around me throughout, and each character, whether it was Ian or Lynette coming in, they always brought their own very powerful energy. And when Ian entered the space for the first time, it was, for my character, from my perspective, I immediately felt, okay, the danger is real. These two folks, not a problem. This guy I need to watch out for because he's bad news. And it was the same with Lynette's character when she came in with her authority, and I felt like, okay, I'm safe. I'm safe. This cop actually did her job. We're good. And then things fall apart. But, yeah.
It was a little sideways. Yeah.
And that's like, you've got the writing, the direction. There's also like how Tina who dressed me, like there's everyone who's behind the camera has like an ingredient to put into this film to kind of give you that perspective, right, and give you the results that you have.
And there was a scene when Josh was starting to blow up near the end, and I honestly don't even know what happened. I just loved watching it. I think he was forgetting lines or getting frustrated or something, and Julian, who was off camera, just reading the lines with Josh for the scene, it just kept egging him on and pushing him further and further. And the passion that came out of that, watching these two work together, was inspiring. And most of it ended up in the movie, and a bunch of dialogue that wasn't even written down that Josh was just spewing out because he was getting frustrated and bouncing back and forth off of Julian. It was for any actors out there, that's the best class, is to watch people like this just do their job.
When they were so good, I almost ruined it because I got scared. I was like, oh shit. I was like, they're fighting. I was like, we can't have this. I was getting in there. I was like, guys, it's okay. It's going to be all right. We'll just take 5. And I was like, oh shit, wait, this is how they do it. And now I see. I apologize. You're working. Good.
I think this film definitely personifies what it means to be a team, because
100%.
Like you guys are saying, everybody's bringing their own energy, and no one person could have done this.
No. I mean, we had everything. We really couldn't have got luckier. We know that.
Allie could have done this.
Yeah, handled it, to be honest. But yeah, no. I mean, you're absolutely right, and it's funny too, because sometimes you don't really know what you're going to get. Justin had told me about Lynette ahead of time. He's like, she's just going to come in, she's going to command the room, and sure enough, you watch her, she just goes, I come in here and I do this, then I'm going to shoot myself here, and I'm going to go over there, and then I'm going to die, and then I'm going to come back, and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. But she's so powerful that you're like, wow, this is awesome. Like, it was amazing for me. Like, I don't get to go on set that much anymore. So just to watch people who are this good, and it was incredible. It was truly, it was really inspiring. I loved every minute of it, and you're absolutely right. Every single person brought everything and more. So it was really incredible. So thank you for anybody I haven't been able to say that to.
Well, Kirk pointed out we got to get some set gossip, because we now know who the real shit disturber is on set. It's Julian.
I was actually trying to get my revenge from Josh killing me in a previous movie.
And well extracted revenge.
Really? So this is like a almost sequel revenge. I see what's going on here.
Yeah, there's a cycle of bad blood here.
Which film was that again?
Bolen.
Yeah, which film was that?
Polar.
That's right. That's where I recognized you. Okay, thank you. I have that problem. I recognize people, but never from where.
Right there.
But what was it like with? Okay, how long did you guys shoot this?
It was 15 days.
15 days.
Wow.
Well, that's actually really fast.
Yep.
Mhm.
So then you guys must have gotten pretty darn close during those 15 days, because just watching you now, it's almost like a family.
Yep. It was we all got very close. It was inevitable. We were all in that house, and it was really great.
Yeah. It is funny though, eh? Like usually when we do the festival screenings, it is a bit of a reunion. So I guess that was kind of what we kind of dubbed this tonight, as a bit of a reunion. How long ago was this shot? Is this the first time you've all been in the same virtual room together since then, or have you been at other stuff before this?
Yeah, we've been in a few. The film premiered at Fantasia, and then we screened at Nightstream in the US. So different groups of us have gathered. And for Fantasia, Ali and her team put together a live screening for some of us. They gathered a huge film studio, and were able to put chairs at the proper distance, and everyone wore masks, and we had a little cast and crew screening there. So that was nice to see everyone.
And if you haven't had a chance to watch a scary movie with Josh, I highly recommend it. Even being in the movie, being the creepiest guy in the movie, I've never seen anybody get more scared in a movie in my whole life. It's pretty great. It's a good litmus test if you want to know if your movie's scary.
I've read this script like 20 times, and I still every time I just wreck. That's how you know it's good.
But we shot in February and March of this year, so weirdly enough, we didn't even have to adjust any dates. Our schedule was to wrap on March 13th, and then the next day the closures came out, and all film sets were shut down, and we got just under the wire.
Well, yeah, I was wondering about that, because there was a few films that we were considering for this year that they got the film shot and they couldn't do post because they hadn't done the pickup. So you're really, really lucky. Mm-hmm. If you hadn't had to do any pickups in April, I see Ali over there. It's just like there's like, I can name 4 or 5 titles that we would have played or considered at least for this year that we didn't. So you're really lucky that you got in just under the wire before everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah, our editor Vince Whitman, he's a relatively new to dramatic editing, but he's very technically savvy. So and I come from the editing world as well. So he and I worked together to figure out a way of doing this. So he held the master files, and he would send me proxies, and I would be editing things on just like a home computer, not an edit suite. I'd be sending him scenes back and forth, and then he set up a live Twitch stream, which is typically used for video games. But he broadcast his computer monitor to Keith and myself, and I don't remember if anyone else sat in with us. Anyways, so we watched the edit live as he was doing it, and we did it all virtually the same way we're doing this. So his technical ability definitely saved us there, and we were able to see this thing all the way through.
That's crazy. Yeah, you guys got just under the wire then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think literally, even some people were saying that night it was. People were getting calls saying, "Well, that's it. We're not working tomorrow," kind of thing. So yeah, it was insane.
Literally drove home from Barrie and then didn't leave the house for 6 months.
There was a plan for all of us at the end of the last day. We were all going to go grab a drink or something, and I don't think we're going to be in the same room anymore. It's time to go, and we had to say our goodbyes on set, and that was it.
Yeah.
Kirk even mentioned there are a lot of filmmakers I talked to who are still trying to figure out post for this year.
Yeah,
use Twitch.
Yeah, like Jen said, that's a creative workaround. People get ingenious right now. They have to get a little ingenuity going to figure things out. But I find
it's just whatever it takes. And luckily, like you said, everybody really went the extra mile, including Vince was doing that all the time, just trying to come up with great ideas for us. And it was really cool to actually just sit there and watch a video game stream of our movie. I was like, oh, this is neat. Yes.
And then we had Urban Post take us across the finish line. So they were doing our sound mix and our color grade, and they followed all the guidelines and opened up as soon as they could. and invited Keith and I down to the large suites that were allowed to have a couple people in there in masks. And we finished post on the movie, I think, on the first day of Fantasia. So luckily we were scheduled near the end of that one because we wouldn't have made it for the opening day. So it was, down to the wire.
I had a feeling, it was down to the wire because I was saying to Sarah, my partner, when we were watching it tonight, that was the first time I'd seen the final version of it. The film that was submitted to us, there was like certain shots where there was the VFX was going to be added a little bit after and things like that. And I think there was like a few, we saw like 99% of like what it was supposed to be, but there was a few differences that I don't think the color grade and the sound design was done. And I know there was visual effects that said on the screen that were going to be added later. So when we were considering the film, that was there. So it was nice to finally see the final version tonight.
Oh, yeah, we appreciate you and everyone looking past that because it was it was not an ideal situation, but
actually, just as an FYI, that's actually pretty. We have a very experienced programming team, and that's pretty typical. We do get that a lot, kind of thing. We get pretty savvy of knowing what is the I don't know, like it's like flaws in the film and what just hasn't been completed yet. Right. You just get that over time. And I think just when you're, and this when you've done posts and stuff like that, you're able to see past like what's there and then what's going to be there. And like that too. You can't change performances in post-production, or you can't change how you shot it, but there's those little details and like that. You can make those. I think I'm very proud of our team that we can make those distinctions when we're judging stuff.
Now, just real quick, I have to ask Julian, are you still out east?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So like you're an hour even later.
Yeah, it's late. It's like nearly 1, I think. And I'm shooting tomorrow too, but that's okay.
I'm so Julian that you're out there right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's home, right, Josh?
Home for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where you're from?
Fortunate. I
didn't know the beard, Josh.
What was that?
I couldn't tell by the beard.
Beard has caught more fish than I have.
So now, being together for 15 days, there must be some comical stories that you guys have from set. Is there any that can be shared?
That's the bigger question, Robert. Yeah.
Troy just shared a pretty good one with us. I finally gave him a link because he's been on set, obviously, with I think he's doing a new big movie. And so we were able to. And first of all, Troy is the nicest man in the entire world. He's the sweetest, softest. You'd never imagine that this is the guy who's doing this stuff. And so we got him a link so he could see it. And he just sent back. He goes, "Oh my God!" He goes, I scared myself. He was like, I didn't know that my scene. He goes, when my scene happened, I got so scared. He didn't know that when his scene was coming up, so he scared himself, which I think I've never heard of that happening before. So that was pretty awesome.
That's a good sign too. Not only John getting scared at it, but if you scared
by himself in the movie, that was pretty great.
Troy would be like twisting his head like backwards on top of me, and then we'd call cut. And he would kind of turn back around and be like, "I'm so sorry. I put my hand like, were you uncomfortable? Are you okay?" I'm like, "Are you okay?"
I don't know if you guys were around for this part too, but while we were shooting in the library, the other room was rented out to this. What's the game? The tennis
pickleball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And so I was like there early, and so I ended up, no one came, like, because I think people were scared of COVID at that time. No one came to this organized meet of this game, and so I ended up playing for probably like an hour and a half with the organizer of this, and I had a blast. I was like, it's such a good pace of a game for me because I'm very bad at like actual tennis, but it's just like you chuck it gently over the net, and then you pick it back up and you send it gently over. First, it was my not the first day, but it was a great day in the library, and it was set me up really well for the terror of the rest of the shoot. So
yeah, we've learned a lot. Satanic Death Lords love wiffle ball.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Justin, usually at this point, we would on stage we would give our filmmaker button. Did you get that in the mail yet?
I didn't. No, I checked today, but
Okay.
I know the post system is a bit wacky right now. So
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we were noticing it's there. Anyway, I just want to tell you, just so you know what it is. There's a film, and I want and any other filmmakers that are listening that are playing the festival this week. I want them to know if they get this in the mail, like, why am I getting this red button that says "Congrats" on it? Anyway, that's a filmmaker button that only filmmakers that play the festival get. Like that too, and you either get a regular one or a 2 or a 3 if you've played multiple years. So anyway, it's kind of like the Masters jacket, the green jackets they give for the golfers. So anyway, wear that when you do. You will get that in the mail in a couple of days, and wear that with pride. That's normally at this point. This is where on stage we would give you the filmmaker button. So
okay, well, thank you so much. I look forward to receiving it.
Yeah.
Yay.
And I found out virtual is great because I think this is literally the longest Q&A you have ever done after a film, Kelly.
I would say that's quite true. Yeah. Usually we get the bar at this point, but I've been drinking the whole time, so it worked out great.
More perks to virtual.
Right? Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Is there any last comments anybody would like to make?
I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys at Blood in the Snow. I mean, you were saying we did a great job working around this COVID stuff to get the film done, but amazing job you guys for putting this whole thing digitally so that everyone can watch it at home. It means so much to us that our film is getting seen, even though people can't go to the cinema. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And it was the first time the film screened with 5.1 surround sound. I was so happy to see that. So thanks to Super Channel for setting that up too.
I have surround sound in my apartment, so that worked out really well. So yeah, it was great. So
see, I've only ever heard one drawback from this, and it was from a couple filmmakers that said, I just spent all this time editing on my television, and now I get to watch it on my television.
Right.
That was the only drawback that I heard. But honestly, no, I think it's been great that you can sit on your couch and just watch it and still have these kind of conversations.
Well, it was great for me because normally I'm running around with my hair on fire with the festival. I never, ever, ever get to watch any of the screenings. And I think in 9 years, this is the first time I've actually watched a screening from beginning to end because I've always been running around the lobby or something like that. So I was sitting here drinking my wine on my couch, watching this barefoot. I'm like, this is amazing. I get to do this. I want to get back to theaters, but I'm appreciating the moment. I just want to say that. So it was
I'm so glad that the first movie you've ever actually watched is ours. That's so nice of you.
I just haven't watched them during the festival. It was nice to take a change and do that. So
here's some more of the crew. They said Kirk said 5.1, baby.
Yeah, you get it.
Carolyn said awesome film, another bit member. And finally, Jen said, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So everybody, thank you again so much. If you ever have anything coming up in the future, like Kelly knows with Bits Radio, you guys are Bits alumni now, and we'd love to know what you're up to. Let us know. We'll get you back on.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Perfect.
For sure.
Amazing.
Thanks.
All right, Kelly. Any last words, Kelly?
Yeah, just thanks for everything. And I just want to tell everyone, obviously, there's 10 more nights of the festival. And every single night at 9 o'clock. A couple of nights will be also on at 7. And we'll be doing the same thing. And most of the Q&As will be on, like I said, on Super Channel. We usually have a little bit more time after the screening, so they'll be on there. And I'll be out doing the intros, and there'll be a short film before every screening. We'll be back on like this on Halloween night, so you can join us on Facebook and on November 7th. For you filmmakers, we have our Deadly Exposure industry events coming up next week, and you can look up on that. If any of the 8 of you that would like to join, you're welcome to. Just send me a note about that, and I'll get you on the list for that for different panels and roundtables. We have that whole component that we're still doing. So anyone listening for that, we'll still be doing that. So we're doing everything we can to make it as much like the festival like we normally have. So if you have any suggestions or anything like that, just keep tweeting and sending us messages, and we'll do what we can.
Excellent.
That's amazing. Thank you.
All right.
All right, everybody.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
great night. And again, congrats on the film.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
All right. Okay.